Yo, what up? The goal of this video is to help you make money and to live a better life. That's it. So please stay tuned and hear what I gotta say. Thank you. Let's go. Have you ever thought about how the games you play mirror strategies that you should be using in real life or you could be using in real life? We're exploring how the principles of video games can be applied to our daily lives for maximum efficiency and success. Think about it, in the realm of pixels and controllers, we're bound by the game developer's code, the laws of the game. These laws dictate what you can and cannot do. Go beyond them, say by hacking or cheating, and you're expelled. Banned. You're done, son, from the digital universe. Now, let's pivot to our shared reality. Here, we're also playing with a set of rules, laws and moral guidelines that govern our behavior. They are constraints, yes, but they're also scaffolding that holds up the structure of society. These rules are defined by our collective experiences and the boundaries we've all agreed upon, more or less, to keep the game fair and enjoyable, quote unquote, for all. Now, this is a random tangent, but I just wanted to say I love rules. Me personally, I like to think of rules as what I can do, not what I can't. For example, if there's a law I cannot do X, let's say steal, random. And to make our universe simple, let's say that's the only rule in this hypothetical universe. I can literally do anything else I want, just not that one thing. That's the idea I like to use when using rules. And I know this causes a lot of conflicts in your brains more than likely, but at the end of the day, if you just take every single rule, let's say like the 10 Commandments or the Constitution or whatever, blah, 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 the rules of your job, it's all just a set of rules, and there's a limited number of them. And if you just took time to sit there and learn all the rules and really think about them, you then, by understanding, putting these rules on your heart, putting these rules in your mind, would then be able to expand your level of play in that system. If there's 20 rules, there's infinite number of things you can do, and you just, boom, you're good to go. You can do whatever you want. Rules are freeing, more or less. But that's how I like to think about them, because I feel like it's a productive way to think about them. So now that that's over, let's just get back to what I was saying. Now, in both worlds, breaking the rules has consequences. In a game, you cheat, you're done. You're out. In life, commit a crime, you're done. You're out. You're removed from society, sometimes permanently, depending on what state you live in. The parallels are strikingly similar. Both systems, virtual and real, are designed to establish order and ensure a level playing field. And there's something even more fundamental that links our digital adventures to our everyday lives, like the cerebral construct. The experiences we undergo in video games can evoke emotions, teach lessons, and shape decisions just as powerfully as those as we encounter in the real life. Why? Because our brain interprets and reacts to both with remarkable similarity. Our neurological pathways light up. Our hearts race in suspense, and sometimes we feel a sense of achievement or disappointment depending on the outcome. Our brains seem to just not be able to tell the difference, is what I'm saying here. What this tells us is profound. The cognitive processes we engage in while navigating the game are not so different from those we use to navigate life's challenges. If you can master the complex systems within a game, for instance, understand its rules, and strategize within those boundaries, to me, I would just like to put forth that you are honing skills that are directly translatable to your game of life. You know what I mean? So, when we play these games, we're not just escaping reality, we're practicing for it. Every decision we make in a game is an exercise in critical thinking, risk assessment, and creativity. Every interaction is a lesson learned in social dynamics. And every rule followed or broken teaches us something about the consequences of our actions. So, by recognizing this powerful connection, we can start to approach life with the same strategic mindset we bring to our favorite games. We can identify the rules that guide us, play within them to our advantage, and ultimately strive to win this grand, complex, and beautiful game called life. Every game challenges us in unique ways, requiring a distinct mix of skills to succeed. Whether you're strategizing a city's development in a simulation, leading a team in multiplayer arena, or solving complex puzzles in an adventure game, you're not just having fun, you're sharpening skills that I am saying are valuable in the real world. Every single game you play, every single one. All games are important. For example, I played a game called RuneScape. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. RuneScape taught me everything I know how to act in the real world. I didn't have friends as a kid, but on RuneScape, I learned to make friends. RuneScape also taught me many things that I ended up using in real life that protected me. For instance, trust scams. I got scammed a few times as an 11-year-old, and when I came upon those situations in real life, the circumstances were so strikingly similar that it triggered the same response of hair standing up the back of my neck. And trusting my intuition, I was able to avoid people of similar nature. I won't drone too much longer about how much this game has affected me, which it has affected me more than anything else in my life, but one of the main things from RuneScape I picked up was the ability to grind endlessly despite how I felt in the moments along that grind. Perseverance. That obviously has translated to positive net in real world with some monetary brags that I speak about in previous videos. I may not have a high school diploma, but my fellow OSRS players can agree that a degree in OSRS is a degree that's worth 100 times more than any like mid-level education. So, with that said, let's break down what your gaming preferences might be signaling about your real-world talents and where they could take you. Let's just say this is an exercise. I just want you guys to try to think critically. Maybe some of these examples, my goal here is to try to trigger some synapses in your head to get you thinking about like the games that you're involved in and where that might take you. Because if you got nothing else going on for you, you gotta do something. Because society tells you without a high school diploma, you're dead. But I'm here to tell you, there's hope for you. There's hope for everyone, and I just hope I can help you identify where you belong in the world, and then in that belonging you make a little bit of money. So let's jump into it. All right, so for the first things I kind of wrote down, it would be something like strategy and management games, multiplayer online battle arenas, MOBAs, team-based shooters like TF2 and stuff like that. You got puzzle and adventure games, you know what I mean when I say that. RPGs, the bulk, WoWs, the RuneScapes, the whatevers. And then we got action reflex games like your Call of Duty Twitch shooters, Halo, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Apex Royales and stuff like that. And so let's start at the top. Let me get it back up here. If you are drawn to strategy games like Civilization or management sims like Sid City, you're probably good at big picture thinking and long-term planning. That's what I would say. These skills are critical for like business development, project management, etc. Your ability to juggle multiple tasks and plan ahead make you an asset in any field that requires like strategic foresight. So now if we head down to MOBAs, team-based shooters, you love leading your team or being a part of a role to be like in a high-paced, high-action environment, then you might have a knack for leadership and teamwork from like Dota 2 and Overwatch and stuff like that. Communication, coordination, split-second decision-making skills honed here are what make great leaders, managers, or even, second in commands, whatever, your shift leads, whatever, stuff like that. A lot, like, this translates to a lot of jobs, MOBAs, this type of things, team-based shooters, like, this translates, if you play a lot of this, you intuitively, I imagine, would just join any role, and you would just be ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be able to know, okay, so here's the game. If you just gamify it, you know what I mean? If you just gamify it and make it like your normal game. I play Smite. Smite is a MOBA I played a lot. And like when you start up your Smite, it's like League of Legends. You're ADC, you're a mid, you're whatever. Whatever your role is, you should be able to directly translate that. Like when I started jobs after playing Smite for so long, I would just, start my job, and then like a few weeks I'd start immediately noticing what my role is and how I need to play, and then by gamifying my experience, I was able to fit in. You know what I mean? So there's that. So then if we move on from there, all right, to move on to like puzzle and adventure games, you got problem solvers and analysts. I'm not too much of a professional in this type of game because, I'm more so of a problem solver now because of my role as an operator in the field I work in now. But like this, I don't have a lot of like immediate intuition in, just like I was talking about with MOBAs and stuff like that. Like MOBAs carried me a lot, but I just, puzzle and adventure games, I was just trying to make a list, try to get everybody like going. So like you got puzzle games, so it's like you're analytical. So then what I imagine is like you're like a computer scientist, you're a programmer, you're any field that requires any sort of critical thinking. So like let's say at my factory, I'll just use my factory for example here. So when I think of somebody who plays a puzzle game, I would think they'd probably be like a QC or like let's say That's probably the best one. An inspector, QC, even an operator. Yeah, in my field, like, or maintenance, I guess. That'd be like problem solving, all these different types of. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm struggling here to try to like pull. I'm not too much into like puzzle and adventure games. I'm more of like a RPG, MOBA player. Now let's just move on to the next subject, which would be RPGs. This is where I fit in. You got like RPGs, I feel like cover everything. You got character development, you got stories, you got, you know what I mean? That's what an RPG is. RPGs that I played, like old school RuneScape, a little bit of WoW, not too much, but I mean, there's the RPGs, just, I played a lot of them. I'm drawing a blank right now because I'm kind of nervous shooting right now, but so like RPGs, they're just like the antithesis of like character development. Like a game, it gives you a role and then a bunch of skills, and these skills translates into jobs, kind of like in real life. And then since you don't have the skill high enough to do a job, you go out and you spend your time and your money training that skill. And then once you get that skill leveled up, now you can do that job, and then you can use that job to create products and trade with other players. And this is very entrepreneurial. So like, yeah, so here we go. Like an entrepreneur would be somebody who probably plays an RPG and like navigates well in a market. Economists, so maybe like an accountant or something along the lines of that, or you like money, so a banker or something along the lines of that. Like RPGs really cover like a whole array of different types of like character profiles and stuff like that, and skill building, and just like abstractly you can get a lot from playing an RPG. So then let's move on down to my next thing I got written down, which is action and reflex-based games. This translates a lot to sports, I would imagine. Like it's like a mental sport. You're just like, boom, you need to like train a bunch of different little things, a lot of little high octane, like boom, if I make one mistake, I'm done. So you got to train a lot of like basic mechanics beforehand, and that's why I say sports, because you have like that with like basketball. I imagine with football, I didn't really play football. I played a lot of basketball. Wrestling's like this. You need to be able to like think super hyper intuitively, really on your feet, really just getting in. It's kind of like muscle memory type stuff. So you can, high octane games, high octane Twitch shooters, they translate really well to sports, but I feel like these sports also really translate to a lot of different jobs that require you to adapt right away on the job. So like there's a lot of utility here. And like if I had to try to think of a job that you would do here, it would be like, I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, I feel like this is translatable to a lot of jobs. Like just playing these types of games, I feel like is going to make you better at any job, because who knows what happens in any job, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's that. All right, so just, for the sake of just not droning on and on about random stuff, I just want to like reiterate the themes from this video. So the themes are, video games and real life are not so different. You know what I mean? Like in a video game, you are subject to a set of rules. In real life, you're subject to a set of rules. In real life, you may have failed at high school just like me. You may have failed at college, whatever. You may have failed at life, but you have been... To the people I'm trying to reach, you have been like honing skills and development that you didn't even realize you were. And if you didn't know, I hope this kind of awoken that in you, is that like no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something, you're training something, which is transferable in real life, which then can turn into you making money, you making yourself better. You know what I mean? In conclusion, gaming skills can translate into real life wins. Use your strategic thinking from puzzle solving. Use your teamwork from multiplayer games, and the focus from single player like RPGs, and the skill building and the character development from RPGs to boost your own personal growth. You may not be able to write this down on a resume, like, yeah, I put $7,000 into Final Fantasy Online, but those skills are real. And with the confidence just being past actions creating predictable future, so that means past skills creating predictable outcomes. You should be able to make something. That should give you confidence to enter the labor force and then prove it on a real scale, so then you can start to build your life from there. And that's what I'm trying to get at. And so I hope this, if you made it this far, whatever, I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, but I really hope that I'm trying to I really hope that I'm helping someone. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of content out there for like average people. I feel like I haven't really gone looking for it, I guess, but the ones that are spammed to me or shown to me from the self-help, the 6-figure, 7-figure people, they got a bunch of them, but there's not a lot of creators out there that I see that are just helping random people, the neebs, the terminally online, the whatever, the nerds. And I want to help, even if it's one person, even if it's 10 people, whatever, nobody that, I don't care. I'm just giving it my shot, and I hope I do. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe or don't. Do whatever you're going to do, and just take it easy. Good luck to y'all.